my channel. This is the Nomad Stitches podcast and my name is Sandra. I am a knitwear and crochet designer. I've been knitting and crocheting for the past 20 years or so, and I've been working as a designer for the past 4. I love it. It's my passion. It makes me so happy to create things with my hands, and I am so glad that you are here so I can show you some of the things that I've been working on. I have some crochet projects, some knitting, and also some sewing that I want to show you. If you were here last time, you saw some of the leggings that I sewed for my baby, and yeah, I have a few others and a few terrible mistakes that I just want to tell you about so I feel less bad about them. If you don't know me, you can find me on Instagram at Nomad Stitches. You can also find all of my patterns and my work on Etsy, Ravelry, or on Lovecrafts as Nomad Stitches, or my website, which is www.nomadstitches.com. Alright, today I am not on my regular sofa, I am on my desk, so sorry if I do this a lot. I tend to do this when I work, and I know it's probably very annoying for you, but I just painted my studio, and that side of the room, which you can't see, is a complete mess, so this is what you get, the pretty view. Okay, should we get started? Today I have a few finished objects. You must have seen them on the last episode if you saw it as a whip, and now they are finished and I want to show them to you. Now the first one is the Lovey that I showed you last time. This is a Sewrella pattern. You can find it for free in her blog, and it's really cute. I really like it. Maggie, my baby, she's almost 1 now. She's not that interested in it, which is really depressing, but I'm thinking she will grow to like it a bit more with time. I do have a few problems with it though, and it has nothing to do with the pattern. First of all, it's the face. Look at that face. I just messed up with the eyes and the nose, and it just looks kind of dumb, and now I look at it and I'm like, oh, you're just a bit deformed. But you know what? Whatever. I'm sure Maggie won't care that much. The other thing I have a problem with is that the white changes tones, and that's because I used triple stranded actually lace yarn, because that's what I had at the moment, and I was like, oh, there's 2 different kinds. That will work, you know, you won't notice. But I ran out of one kind and I only had the other kind, and you can totally tell, and now it just looks dirty. It looks like the top is really dirty, and then the bottom is just like crisp white, and the other has this like kind of creamy going on. And if the whole thing was creamy, then it would be fine, but because there's this bit at the bottom when it's like crisp white and everything else has this cream going through it, it just looks so dirty, and I'm really upset about that. And obviously I'm not going to remake it, because who does that? But yeah, that's my Lovey. I'm okay with it. I think Maggie will learn to like it, I hope. Yeah, that's finished object number 1. Now the next ones, I want to show you some sewing. I'm really proud of these. These are some leggings that I made for my baby, for Maggie. They're super simple. They're a bit dirty because I put them on this morning thinking she'd only wear them for 2 hours before her nap. And in that time she managed to get literally every dog hair in the house stuck to them, and because they're black it's just so obvious. But yeah, I mean, they're just pretty basic, but they were so easy to make. These are the Celeste leggings by Peanut Patterns. I found them on Etsy, and I think they were $1, I want to say. I mean, it was just ridiculously cheap. And the pattern is just so simple. I mean, it's 3 parts. It's 1 leg, the other leg, and the band. And it took me longer to put the pattern together and cut it than to actually sew it together. Super easy. This is from all the leggings that I had. I don't know if this happens to you, but I have really fat thighs and they rub against each other, and all my leggings always tear at in the middle. So I just, instead of sacrificing them into the bin, I used the fabric and I made Maggie a pair of leggings, and I have enough, I think, for another set, maybe short ones, because I'm not sure I have enough. I mean, my leggings are big, but they're not that big, apparently. But yeah, this is a great little pattern if you're into sewing, or if you would like to try it out. I think it's super easy, and it really builds your confidence because it's so easy not to mess up. So Celeste Leggings by Peanut Patterns, definitely give it a go. The other thing I tried, this sewing pattern is by Mijeong. I'm not sure I'm saying the name correctly. Mijeong. I found her on Etsy as well, and the pattern is incredibly complex. You get a top, you get a dress, you get a kind of like an overall thingy with like these ruffles and pants at the bottom. You get a romper, and you get bloomers, all in the same pattern, and they're all a little bit different from each other. So like they have these ruffles on the shoulders, and like the top has the ruffles that are a bit longer than the romper, for example. I mean, it's so much work that she's put into this pattern, and it's very, very cute. So I was a little bit scared to dig in it because of all the ruffles, and I just wasn't sure that I would have the ability to make it. So I just did the bloomers first, and these are the little bloomers that I made for Moo. Moo is my baby. And they're a bit big on her. They're supposed to be for 12 months to 2 years, which is it's a long time, I think. So I'm sure they'll fit when she's 2, but at the moment they're still a little bit too big. And I did that thing that I always do that really pisses me off, and I just can't stop doing it. And it's this. Do you see that? I mean, she's worn them once, and the fabric has already torn out of the sewing. And I think the problem is that I sew too close to the edge because I'm scared of eating too much of the fabric into the seam. And then this happens, and it happened with the other leggings that I made her the other day, and I just don't know what to do. Like, it's like I am aware that I make this mistake when I sew, and it happens all the time. And even though I'm aware and I try my best not to do it, it just keeps happening. And it's very, very frustrating. Do you guys have any advice? What do you do to avoid that? I don't know, I've thought about maybe marking a line and like following that line instead of the seam, but I don't know what to do. But anyway, I'll have to fix these now. The fabric was an old sheet that I bought a long time ago, and I made this sheet into these sacks so that I can keep Maggie's cloth diapers in. So I put them in the bin, and that's like the plastic bag, but instead of a plastic bag, it's a sack. And I made too many. I think I made 4 of those sacks, and I really only use 1 or 2 max. So I use this fabric for these bloomers. At the moment, with the quarantine and the fact that I live in Bulgaria, and I don't have a Joann's fabric or a Michael store where I can go in and like there's a plethora of fabrics and options. Here it's a little bit harder to find things that I like and that are pretty. So I'm basically digging into my closet. Sorry guys, I have something in my eye. I'm basically digging into my closet and using things that I don't want or need, or that my husband is throwing away, and making them into something else for our baby, which is great because she's smaller and she can fit in different things, right? Anyway, these are bloomers by Mijeong, and I will try the romper next, and I will tell you how that goes, okay? Alright, the next one. This one I showed it to you last time, and it was just the rainbow bit at the on the last episode, and I've made 3 of these rompers now, and the pattern is actually almost ready to be released. This is the Hope romper. I made 2 versions. This is the boyish version, I guess. This is more neutral, gender neutral, I guess. The other one has shell stitch going through the body, and it is in Maggie's bedroom, and she is sleeping at the moment, and there is no way in hell I'm going to go in there and threaten to wake her up. So I You don't get to see it, sorry about that. If you want to check it out, I'll post a picture over here of the ruffly one. It has shells on it, and it's a lot more feminine than this one. This one's a lot more gender neutral. And it's super cute. It's a little rainbow. It has a ribbing at the back and 2 little buttons. And they have an opening at the bottom. I bought these snaps from, I think it was eBay that I found them on. And I don't know, if you're not a mom, maybe you don't care about this, but if you're a mom, you know how difficult it is to change a diaper if you have to take the whole thing off. And this toy saves the drama of it. Also, buttons can be a bit of a pain in the ass when you're changing a diaper, and this way these snaps work so easily, and they are so easy to put on. I thought it was going to be drama and I was gonna need a hammer or something, and the set comes with these pincers that I just, I put the 2 pieces inside and I just like press it where I want the snap to go, and that's it. Like, just so incredibly easy. So if you have a baby and you make clothes for your baby, definitely get some of those, because they are, life changer for baby clothes for sure. I made a few of these rompers before and I used buttons at the bottom, and I honestly dreaded changing that diaper, because like, it's hard enough with a baby to change a diaper, especially at her age. She just wriggles about and literally I have to chase her while she's naked and covered in poo. It's not fun. And now having to do that and like make her sit and wait for me until I button things is just way too much work. So these snaps are definitely lifesavers. So this is the Hope Romper. The pattern will be out probably on Friday. So if you're watching this and it's Wednesday, please just wait a couple more days. And if you're watching this and it's already Saturday, then you can find it on my website. I hope you like it. I really, really enjoyed making them. And I have quite a few babies being born, not me, my friends, soon. So I'll be making more of these for my friends as well. Okay, next finished object. This is... it's one of my favorite yarn babies ever. This I used Chandy's yarn, Expression Fiber Arts, and I showed you the yarn last time and I told you the story behind it. It was about that hammam wool and how I saw it, and I just wanted to make something out of this image, and I worked really hard with this one and I absolutely love it. I think it's just perfect. This is it. So there's a bit of mosaic crochet going through the bottom, and then there's this line in the middle that I really like. It just kind of centers the whole thing, and then at the back there's a pretty low neck, so it has that kind of conservative look at the top, and then the back just has that bit of like fun, so it's not just like this frumpy loose top. It has that front, but at the same time it has that nice little element at the back, sorry, and I actually put it on with the low neck at the front, and it looks really cute as well. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna wear it yet, but I really, really liked how it turned out. The line in the middle kind of twists a little bit. I don't know if it's because of that Z twist in yarn. Oh, sorry, I have a phone call. This never happens. 1 minute, okay? Alright. Sorry about that, you guys. I had to go all the way to the gate to receive a package, and it's something really exciting. But it's great timing because now I get to show it to you and I get to open it with you guys. But before we do that, let me just get through the things that I have planned, okay? So yes, this, sorry, I think I walked too fast. Okay, this top, I called it Mosaika Gunesh, which Mosaika means mosaic in Bulgarian. I live in Bulgaria, so I found that fitting. And Gunesh means sun in Turkish, which, if you know, hammams are also called Turkish baths. And since, the whole inspiration came from that wool at a Turkish bath, I figured, and it looks like there's suns on it, I figured that was a good name for it, Mosaika Gunesh. It's a bit complicated, but I putting names to my designs that actually have meaning and that have reference to something in real life and that remind me of where they came from. And so that's the name for this one. This one is in testing now, so it will probably be out mid-July, if everything goes according to plan, of course. And this yarn is something so special. Yeah, Expression Fibre Arts, Chandy, she's just a genius. And her yarn is not the cheapest, that's true, but oh my god, is it worth it. Like, I want to have everything made out of this. This is cashmere and silk combined, and with some wool, I think, in it. And it is so soft. Like, I mean, look at that drape. Like, you just, you can't replicate this. Like, there's no acrylic yarn that can do this. And it's just so loose and so soft. And someone was asking me, because I used a 4mm hook for this, and the testers always ask me, like, are you sure it's fingering weight yarn? And I'm like, yes, I'm sure, I made it. Like, I know it is 4mm hook with fingering weight yarn, and everyone expects it to be super holey, but you know, I mean, look at that fabric. It's not holey at all, and it's all about the stitch that you use. And it is so light. I think the whole thing must weigh about 200 grams, maybe a little bit more. And it has such nice drape, and it is worth it working with fine yarn, I think, if you want to get that look and that fit of, like, you know, relaxed. And well, I'm in love, basically. So yeah, you guys should definitely check out her yarn and check out this pattern when it's out, because I think you will like it. And I think it will fit everybody. Yeah, I think it's a great top to wear. I will wear it all the time for sure. I still haven't taken pictures of it, so I cannot wear it all the time at the moment because I tend to get things dirty. So I will when I can. Now, my next FO is actually what I am wearing. This, I showed it to you last time, and it didn't have the edging yet, and I had all my weaves to, my ends to weave, but now it's finished. And let's see if I can show it to you better if I stand up. Yeah, so this is it. It's a bit lower at the back than at the front, and sorry about the chair. I ran out of yarn, and that's literally why this side of color happened, but I don't even care. I actually really like the way the intarsia worked. What I am really upset about, and this is something I've learned through making this top, is I need to block my gauge swatch. I have never ever blocked a gauge swatch until yesterday, and that is very embarrassing for me to admit, because as a designer, the gauge swatch is like your Bible, you know, it's your centerpiece, is what dictates how your design is going to look at the end. And for me to not put the love that it requires, it's just embarrassing for me to admit, and it's really upsetting, to be honest, because I love this top, but it's way too big. I mean, look at that. And it's so stretchy, and I didn't even block it aggressively, but I have, I don't know, what is that, like 10 centimeters at each side? That's 20 centimeters. And then the neck is just so wide because I didn't block my bloody gauge swatch, and the final product is a different size, you know, and that's just so basic, and it makes me really angry. And when people buy my patterns and they say, oh, you know, like, what's the point of a gauge swatch? Like, what's gauge? Do I really need to do this? And I get a bit, you know, defensive of this gauge. I'm like, yeah, you have to do it. And like, I know this, and I didn't do it myself, and that makes me very angry and very upset, and I hope you forgive me for this rant, but I've learned my lesson, and I do really like it. I love the little shells at the top. I mean, this is just work with basically ribbing all around, and it just looks quite cute, doesn't it? But yeah, so I want to remake it because this one was made with fingering weight yarn. This I use IndieBelle fibers and with leftovers that I had from the Malecon top. And I want to remake it in something thicker. So I'm going to use DK weight yarn, or yeah, it's DK Sportish. And yeah, that brings me to my whips, to my works in progress. So my first one that I'm going to talk about is this design, but with a thicker yarn and a bigger hook. So last time I showed you my gauge swatch, which is this. Pre-blocking, I think I got 23 rows per 10 centimeters. Post-blocking, I got 16. That is a huge difference. And I know, like, for you, maybe if you're not a designer or if you're not really like into numbers, you're like, whoa, what does that matter? And like, yeah, I know it's so stupid of me to like get so fixated on these numbers, but it matters so much. Like 16 to 23, that's a huge difference. I actually did the maths, and with 16 rows per 10 centimeters, I will work more than 100 rows less than this one. And each line is one row in this case. And this has over 100 rows more than what this will have. So that is a huge difference. That's like, I think I was doing the math, that's like about 15 to 20 hours of work. So, you know, thinking of the knitter experience, a crocheter experience, like, what do you actually enjoy about making a pattern? Yes, it is the final product. You want something beautiful that you can wear, but you also want to enjoy making it, and you don't want to spend all your time making the same thing over and over again, and it just gets boring. So I wanted to make something that was enjoyable to make, but also beautiful at the end. And now I think this gauge will be my go-to. Like, this is what I will use. And as you see, it's a lot more stretched out. I mean, I wet blocked it, so it is a little bit more aggressive than steam blocking it, which is what I did here. I just kind of sprayed it and stretched it out a little bit because I didn't want it to stretch anymore, but it could. It could stretch a lot more. So yes, moral of the story, always block your gauge swatch, always block your work, because it does make a big, big difference, especially with something that's stretchy like this. So keep an eye for that one. This is the yarn that I'm actually using, not that. Oh my god, what an eventful freaking video. My camera literally just fell forward and then it was all blurry and I was like, no, did I just break my camera? I didn't. It's all fine. Sorry about that. Goodness. I hope this doesn't bother you all. But anyway, so yeah, this is the color that I will be using, which is this like kind of minty grayish green. I think it's very pretty and I think it's gonna look really nice. It's all viscose yarn. I think this is viscose and cotton. So it does shred a little bit, but it has a lot of weight to it and it's super shiny. And I really like it, so I think it'll look good. I hope it looks good. But yeah, that is whip number 1. Now my next one is a knitting pattern, a knitting project. This is the beloved Bonnet by Tin Can Knits. I showed it to you last time and I literally only had one tiny bit worked, but I'm almost done now. This is what I've worked. This is one side and this is where I'm at on the other side. So yeah, it's looking really pretty. I think I'm not super in love with this yarn. This is acrylic and wool mix, and I'm not a huge fan of acrylic yarns, but when it comes to baby things, I feel like I rather use acrylic than something really fancy, because as soon as you put it in the wash, you're always scared is it's gonna felt. And you know, I mean, my baby chewed the hell out of these straps, and I just don't want the person that I gift it to have to tell them, oh yeah, by the way, be careful every time you put it in the wash to make sure it doesn't felt or anything like that. So I think I just went for acrylic yarn, and so I think I might put some embroidery on it just to make it look a little bit fancier and prettier. And I have a friend having a baby in France, a friend having a baby in the US, and another friend having a baby in Spain. So, and a friend that just had a baby here in Bulgaria. So I think I'm going to be making a lot more of these, and that's okay because it's a very easy, fun pattern, very, very mindless. And I love that she uses short rows at the back. So if you see this part of like this elasticy bit with garter stitch, it's a lot smaller than the front. And that works so well. Like the one that my baby had, it just never fell off her head and she was never uncomfortable. And she actually hates wearing hats. Like I put hats on her and like the first thing she does is just like try to rip off them from her head. And her little bonnet, she could wear it all day, indoor, outdoors, like anytime I put it on, she was happy with it. And I think it's just because it sits so well around her back and it's comfortable to wear. So I think Tim Knits did a great job with this pattern, and I want to make a ton of them, and I think you should too. Yeah, so this is the beloved bonnet by Tim Knits, and when I finish I will show you how it turns out. Alright, now the other whip that I have, I can't really show it to you because it's a bit of a secret project that I'm working with someone else, but I can show you the yarn. And this is, this is a Rosa Pomar, and I've seen these on Instagram and I've seen them on other people's podcasts, and I've been dying to work with it, and it's very woolly. It's pure wool. It's Portuguese merino wool, I think. It's merino and something else wool. But you guys, it feels like you're working with the actual sheep. Like it smells so good. It smells like a farm and animals, and you can just feel like you're part of nature working with yarn like this. Like it's just, there's no chemicals in it, there's no intervention like that. It's just literally, they take it off the sheep and then they make it into yarn, and then it's yours, and then that's just such a wonderful thing to work with. Like it's like when you get those like from farm to table kind of meals, but from farm to yarn. And if you've never tried working with pure wool, I think it takes a little bit of time to get used to it because it's not like that soft, fluffy yarn that everyone's looking for. But I think it's worth it because it's going to be so warm and so cozy, and there's something just magical about wearing nature on you. Like it's not just yarn, it's just literally came from an animal and someone cut it with their hands and made it for you with so much love. And I just love that about yarn, that it's not just buying things to buy, it's like you're supporting the whole economy. You're supporting loads of people that are in this business and that work with animals and that love their animals. Like, it's not just like factory farming. Like these people actually really love their animals. And this one came from Portugal, which is great. And so this is the Brusca. This is a DK weight yarn. And I'm also working with their fingering weight yarn, Mondim. So that's going to be a bit of a mix of weights in the design. So I think that'll be fun. You probably won't see any of this until, who knows, maybe like November or something like that. So don't get excited. But I just wanted to show off, and I'm so excited about working with these yarns. And let's open up my package. I literally, when I got that phone call, it was a delivery man bringing me my package. In the village I live in, it's a 400 people village, and there are no street names. So if I want to get anything delivered, it has to have my phone number because they have to call me to bring it to me, or the lady at the post office receives it, and she knows me, so she calls me. No one brings me my mail like in normal places. But yeah, this came, and guess who this is from? Alright, I have a massive love affair with Amy's yarn because she is amazing with color, and she's been so incredibly supportive. Like, a few months ago, I decided, you know what, I want to work with nice yarn, and I don't have the means to buy nice yarn all the time. You know, like now that my patterns are getting more exposure and I'm making a little bit more money, like it's easier for me to buy nicer yarn, but I couldn't at the beginning. And I had all these beautiful ideas in my head, and I just emailed a few yarn companies, and I said, would you like to work with me? And the amount of people that said yes, you guys, it's amazing. Like, I couldn't believe the support that I got from yarn dyers and from yarn companies out there. Like, everyone's willing to put so much of their love and their product into your hands. You know, they trust me with their products, and Amy is one of those people, and I worked with her in my confetti DK pullover, and now we have a few bits in the works. So let's look at the yarn she sent me. Oh my god! It's so pretty! Oh my god. Okay, so this is going to be two sweaters actually. One is going to be a cardigan version, and the other one is going to be a pullover version of a mosaic crochet all through. And I'm so excited about it. And these two are for the cardigan. I mean, look at these colors, you guys. I don't even you can see them properly because the light is a bit awkward in here, but this pink is just so beautiful. It's like this dusty pink, and it has such, you know, subtle variations in color. Oh, I think it's gonna look so pretty. You know, just such a subtle contrast of color. So these two, this one's gonna be the main color, and this one's gonna be the contrasting. And oh my god, it is so soft. This is Cashmerino, yes. So this is 75% merino, 15% cashmere, and 10% nylon. So, you know, it has a bit of, you know, strength from the nylon, but it's so soft, and it'll be really warm as well. The other one, that's the, so this is the cardigan version, and the pullover version is going to be bright colors. I wanted to make it very contrasty. So this is going to be the main color. This is called Winterfell. How cool, right? Yeah, this one is called Ghost from Game of Thrones, if you're a fan. And this one is called High Garden. How fitting. And this one is Winterfell, which is this like dark greeny, almost bluish color. It's just so beautiful. And the contrasting are going to be these two. How cool! So this one is Yellow Brick Road, and this one is called Madeleine. So it's these like purple and yellow, and then this is going to be the main color. I mean, look at that together. How beautiful is that? And this yarn is just so amazing. It's fingering weight yarn, and I think I have enough for everything. I'm excited to start, but I can't start because I have so many other things to do first, so I will try to measure myself and not start yet. So yeah, if you've never tried LaBienAimee's yarn, you really should, because it's amazing. And this woman, she's just a powerhouse. Like, you know, she's a mom, and she has businesses, and she does the yarn, and she supports so many people with her work, and I just love that about women, supporting women. Like, there's something just so beautiful about that. It just makes me so happy. So thank you, Amy, if you're watching this. Thank you, Chandy, and thank you everyone who's like supported my design process. Tash, she sent me this one as well. You guys are amazing, and thank you so much. And if you're out there, if you're a designer and you think, ooh, I would like to work with nice yarn, email these people. Like, I seriously email them, and I send them sketches, and I send them swatches of what I want to make, and I send them the colors that I want to use, and I say, I think your yarn would be great for this. And, you know, and I don't just go and I'm not entitled and I don't say, you should help me. Like, I mean, you know, I do ask them and I have ideas to show them. So, you know, put yourself out there, put yourself your ideas. I have been rejected plenty of times. Don't believe that everywhere I go, people say yes. Like, that doesn't happen all the time. And a lot of the times it's just because my idea didn't pair up with what they were looking for, and that's fine. You know, your work doesn't have to be for everyone. But support is out there. You know, wonderful people are out there, and that is just so true. Okay, now this is all I have to share with you guys about yarn. I did want to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement and what's going on at the moment. You know, I think it would be very remiss of me not to say something about it, especially since I am a part of the people of color community. And this is something that it's just dawned on me, really. Like, I think, was it last year that people were talking about inclusivity and racism in the knitting community and, you know, POCs, and people started adding me to this POC list of people in Fibre and designers that are people of color. And like, I never really thought of myself as a person of color. I'm from Mexico, and in Mexico I'm just a normie. You know? I'm not white, of course, but I'm not the minority in any way. Actually, I am very privileged where I come from. You know, both my parents had really good job. My dad went to university. My mom never finished university, but she had a good job, respected. You know, both of my parents are very respected. And compared to the majority of people and people that live in intense poverty in my country, I was very, very privileged. So for me to be considered not, it felt a bit of a shock, you know, and maybe that's just because I am naive and because I have had that privilege of living my life the way I have. You know, I haven't lived in Mexico for the past 15 years or so, but every time I have faced issues, I've always assumed it's because of my nationality, or because people are just mean and not nice, you know. And I don't like to assume that people are racist or, you know, hurtful on purpose. But, you know, the amount of times that I haven't been, you know, that I've been questioned at an airport because they assume that I'm not allowed to go to a country, you know, like, literally that is like the first response. Like, I show up and I give them my passport and I tell them where I'm going, and they say, no, you can't go there. And I've learned to be a good advocate for myself and to say, yes, I can, look it up, and yeah, of course I can go. But it's just that instant reaction of people to say no. And again, I never thought it was because of the color of my skin, but maybe it is. I don't know. I have a white husband. Maybe that's helped me a lot as well in the way. But I'm saying all of this because it's hard. It's hard for people to put themselves in other people's shoes. I was in those shoes and I didn't even realize that I was in those shoes. And so I think this whole movement is waking us up to things that are happening and how people are feeling, and it's just exploded, you know. It's like, how much can you stand? When is it enough, you know? And I don't think white people or people that are not part of these communities are mean or they don't want to understand. I think it's just difficult for them to understand. Like, this is a funny story. One time I was flying in Spain. I used to live in Spain before, and we were flying within Spain to a different city. And so to fly within Spain, you don't need your passport, you just need your ID card, you know. And I had my residency permit, and my passport at the moment was in a government office, so I couldn't take it with me when I was traveling. We were in the line to get into the plane, and my friend knew about my passport, and I was a bit nervous because every time I go on a plane or I enter a different country, because I've traveled a lot, it's always terrifying. And it's probably because I'm Mexican, and that is an issue for me. And if you have a British passport or an American passport, a Canadian passport, you probably don't have this fear instilled, but I do have it. And he made a joke about, oh yeah, I'm not gonna tell them about the bomb in your bag. And I know that is just the stupidest thing that you can say at an airport. But for me, it felt like my world was falling apart, because if someone had heard that, they would believe him, and they would question me, and that would be on me. And I don't think he understood that. Like, he thought it was funny, and I get it, it's kind of funny, but not really. And like, that is privilege, isn't it? That is what people that haven't had to live through that don't get to experience, and don't get to understand that other side of the experience. And that's what's happening right now, that Black people and other people of color that have been marginalized their whole lives, that have lived with this stigma and with this thing in the back of their heads constantly, they're sick of it, and this is exploding now. And I think we should be happy that it's happening, because it's opening people's eyes, and it's giving them the opportunity, everyone the opportunity to understand, and to really listen, and to really try to understand what other people are going through every day. You will never understand. No one will ever understand. I don't understand. I'm brown, I'm not Black. That's different, right? I'm a woman, I'm not a man. That's different. I have a white husband. You know, that gives me some kind of... I'm a white British husband. You know, that changes things. But that's the thing about experiences. Everyone has a different one. And the fact that this whole group of people are facing the same thing, it's just not right, is it? And maybe it is time, not maybe, it is time to change. It is time to do something about it. So if you're out there protesting, good for you. Please be safe. Hey guys, so I'm adding this post edit because I've just spent the last 20 minutes or so watching videos about police brutality and what's going on in the US, and I just, my heart is broken. My brain is full of horrible images, and I just think it's horrible that that's happening. And you know, it's, the US is so proud of, you know, being the greatest country in the world, and being superpower in so many things. You know, there's so many resources in this lovely country, and the fact that its government is turning against its people is just so horrific and just not right. And if you're out there protesting today, please be safe. I mean, yes, there are looters and there are people that are doing things wrong, but this does not justify this level of violence against your own citizens. And you need to be heard. People need to be heard. People need to understand. People need to see this. But goodness, please be careful. Don't take your children to the protest. And I hope that the message is doing what it should do, is opening people's eyes, and you know, in the next election people make the right choices, and you know, the social constructs change, and that things actually change. But please be safe. I don't know what else to say. I feel broken, I feel sad, I feel angry. And I can't imagine how you are feeling if you are from the United States and you are living through this. So please know that I stand with you. I stand with all Black lives, all people of all colors, and I'm here. Okay. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. Obviously, I'm not an expert. That's just my personal experience, my personal opinion. This is not a political podcast. I know that you are not here for the politics. I know that you are here for the yarn and for the crafts. So thank you for listening to this. I'm done. I'm done with that. But it is important to be said. And I hope that you are here not only because you like what I do, but because you like what I am and who I am. And this is part of who I am. I am a brown Mexican woman. And I am very proud of it. And I hope you are here not only because of my color, but also for my work, right? I think there has to be a balance between supporting for the sake of supporting brown, and also, you know, ignoring that side of a maker. But yeah, so go out there, support your POCs, and anyway, yes, other bits of news. I'm so excited. Nomad Stitches is moving again. So my husband and I have been living in Bulgaria for almost 2 years. In October it will be 2 years, and even though we have really enjoyed our time here, we've realized that it's just not for us. Like, we are not the self-sustaining kind of people. Like, I love the gardening, but it's just way too much work, and we are just so isolated from society, and we just miss people. And our daughter is almost 1 year old now, and we want her to be closer to family. She's actually crying now. I have to go get her, but let me just finish. So we have decided to move to England. Yay! My husband is from England. He's from Suffolk, and he hasn't lived in England for about 15 years or so, and I have never lived in England. So to me, this is a new experience, and this is going to be actually the 10th country I will be calling home in my adult life, which is pretty mental, but maybe it will be the one. Like, maybe we can make it our home, and we don't have to move again, because I'm getting tired of it. It's like, you know, a few years ago when moving meant putting everything we owned in a backpack and going somewhere else, that was a lot easier. But this time, you know, we own this house that we live in, and we have so much furniture that we need to find a way to take there. We have 2 dogs, we have a baby. Like, it's not just us and the things in our backpack, even though that was so liberating. If you've never done that, if you've never traveled with whatever you have in your backpack and that's all you own, you should try it someday, because it's incredibly liberating. But I kind of miss having a home now. I kind of miss having a place to belong. Bulgaria is not that place for us. Even though it is the place for many people. There's a lot of expats here. So we'll give England a try, see how that goes. We're going to be in Norfolk. So if you are close to us, give me a shout and let me know where you are. We're going to be close to Great Yarmouth. If you are in that area, that would be great to get to know you. And yeah, that is our big news. We're moving to England! Yay! I'm very excited about that. Hopefully in the next month or so. So obviously my life is a bit of a mess at the moment, because we are prepping the house to be able to sell it, and I have all of these commissions that I have with publications, and I have my own designs, and I also have a baby and a husband and dogs and a house, and so it is a bit busy, but I really enjoy making these videos, so I hope you like them too. Another thing, Indie June is happening over at Lovecrafts, and you can get 10% off yarn if you use my code NomadStitches10. So yeah, go ahead and check out their indie patterns. Sorry, for 10% off yarn you need to buy an indie pattern, and they have a huge list of indie designers. There's a lot of POCs in there if you want to support a Black, Indigenous or person of color. You can buy one of their patterns, and the good thing about their website is that the patterns usually have suggested yarn that they stock on their website, so it takes a lot of that guesswork away, like, oh, is this yarn going to be good, is this yarn going to be good? Like, you just kind of go with whatever they suggest, and that I do that with all my patterns, and everyone else I think does that too. So down there in the descriptions you'll find the link. If you buy through my link, I do get a commission, which would be great if you do that at no cost to you, but you don't have to do it, of course. And yeah, I think that's it. My camera says that I have 1 minute left, so I will speak very slowly to fill it up. No, just kidding. It's time to go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to know more about me, please make sure to follow me on Instagram at NomadStitches. And you can find my patterns on Ravelry, Etsy, and Lovecrafts as Nomad Stitches, or on my website nomadstitches.com. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it wasn't too long or too boring, and I hope to see you again next time. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. I'd love to know you as well, so comment and tell me what you think about my podcast and about my projects and about my experience, and you know, maybe we have a lot in common. So I can't wait to hear from you. Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.